Hey everyone, welcome into the Real Family Business Podcast, where our family business will help your family business through all of the crazy challenges that come with running a family business. Let's dive in today. Before we start, I do have a story to tell. We just got back from Missouri, took my family, and we had a little, couple day vacation. It's funny because I have to come here and I'm planning a lot and organizing a lot. So when we go on vacation, I'm like the exact opposite. I'm just the recipient of everything. My wife plans everything. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because my wife knows our core values as a company. She knows them all because, she's seen them all. And so she
uses them against you.
We went to, what is it called? Silver Dollar City, I think is what it's called.
Yes, fun place.
So Six Flags, what I say, country version of Six Flags, basically.
Ozark Six Flags.
I love that place.
Hey, I'll tell you what, it was like 1 billion degrees the other day. Yeah. And I tend to be complainer whenever it's a little hot, and so I might have been complaining just a bit. And my wife, one of our rules that we're going to talk about in this episode today is don't be the problem, fix the problem. And I was just complaining about all of the things that we were doing that day and how hot it was, and she just whips out a Rollo Rule on me, and I really can't respond at that point. So moral of the story is don't teach your spouse your company values, that way they can't use them against you. But
that's funny.
Well, it's family business.
Yeah, it is. No, you remind me of something similar. So we were at church camp a few weeks ago, and we go every summer for several times. Work at church camp, have for years. Our kids have enjoyed it. But staying in the men's cabin and wife's in the ladies' cabin, the kids are, of course, doing the kids thing, and it just, man, all those guys snoring. It gets. I'm getting older, right?
All those guys, as in.
Yeah, I'm 50. I mean, it's not the best thing. Anyway, so I'm like, you know what? They have these RV hookups. So I'm like, I'm going to get an RV. I don't own an RV, but I'm going to get an RV. I'm going to find out how to do this. And so I could have bothered you. You have one. You would have loaned it. I know. But I said, so I figured. I said, hey, I bet you can, rent an RV. Sure enough, they have RVs that are like VRBO. There's multiple apps.
It's like Robin Williams in the movie here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've seen that. I love that movie, by the way. And so I'm basically figuring this thing out, and I'm checking out these pictures on it, and I'm going back and forth. The first one I go to book it, and they'd already booked. It was, but I did it all on my own.
Which is
Don't
a big
be
deal
the problem, fix the problem. For me, that's a big deal with the app. And
that's right.
Yep.
That's right. So
well. Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
So let me segue. I mean, so I think one of the questions that we have talked about a lot is, from a family business perspective, how do you identify problems within yourself, right?
Yeah.
From a leadership perspective, don't be the problem, fix the problem. So what's the small business owner or leader's role in figuring that out?
Yeah. Can we talk real quick about the rule first, and then I want to answer that question, just in general, how.
So I got a thought on that.
Yeah. So how did we come up with that rule? How do we make that one of our core values? Don't be the problem, fix the problem.
Well, I think the idea is sometimes, if we're not careful, we'll complain about something, but that doesn't solve it.
Yep.
And so, it's like the book, No Complaining Rule. Well, what good does that do unless you give solutions to fix the problem? Yep. So I think that's kind of maybe the idea, and then we began to think about it. We created as one of the rules.
Well, I think the way it came about, if I'm remembering correctly, is I was talking with a couple of our top end team members, and we were all talking, and no one was really complaining at that moment, but we were talking about a issue within the agency we were trying to fix, and everybody had their opinion on it, and it wasn't necessarily complaining, but it was a little bit like, I would think I would do this, I think I'd do that. And as we sat down, I started saying, okay, well, but if you do this, here's another problem it creates. If you do this, well, there's another problem it creates. And at the end of it, they're like, man, I never really thought about the fact that none of these solutions would actually work. And it kind of coined the phrase, okay, well, hey, look, everybody can see a problem, but it takes a different kind of person to actually be able to solve it, right? Everybody can see it.
Well,
how do you fix that problem is the question. So
it's fascinating working with Jason as long as I have. You watch the nature of he and his wife's relationship, right? And Jason always says that you know, he's the reason that the business has grown, and she's the reason that he's not broke, right? I mean,
Yep.
I think BJ could run a small country.
For sure.
Maybe run a large
maybe a
country.
large country.
But
It would have to be an island, though. She doesn't settle for anything else.
Yeah, she would like to run an island. Yeah,
That's not wrong. So Jason if you spend any amount of time with Jason, one of the things that he talks about a lot is self-awareness.
Yep.
It really is, I think, the most elemental part of getting at this question. Don't be the problem, fix the problem. Well, what role am I playing? And this, in my background, you know, organizational effectiveness, talent management, a lot of things over the years. I've had a lot of opportunities to do a lot of work in this space. I think self-awareness. Now, most people, you know, self-awareness is one of those things. There's a human behavior, a behavioral tendency. If you go to the golf course and you're not hitting the ball straight, everybody's going to start giving you advice.
Every single person.
Every person who's not good at the game themselves are telling you how to make your game better. You know, it's the same thing with barbecue. People who can't cook, I mean, they'll give you a burnt brisket that's make your fillings fall out because it's so crunchy, you know, or sitting there trying to tell you how to make that brisket a little bit better next time. So it's no different with self-awareness in being the problem. I think there's a lot of ways that a leader could start to look introspectively to try to figure out. And one of the best resources I've found over the years, there's not just one way to do this. There's a lot of ways to do it. But one of the ways that I've seen that's very effective is to become familiarized with just some of the basic fundamentals with how people are wired. There's actually a book written by a guy, Jackson, I know you and I have talked about it quite a bit, a book called Surrounded by Idiots. And you know, I mean, and there's personality inventories, the MBTI, Myers-Briggs. There's the Berkman. There's a lot of different personality assessments. But understanding who you are, but also taking as much effort to understand how other people are wired and where those fault lines exist, and the friction and the shaking that can come as a result of. There's no malintent. There's just structural differences architecturally in how people's minds are wired.
So I love what you just said, but think about this too from an executive level. If you know who you are, which is critical, including your strengths, another book out there called Strengths Finders, right? You manage your strengths, not weaknesses. You improve the weakness areas within the strength. But anyway, if you know who you are, and then you know who your different team members are, including what they're strong at, what they're good at, what they're not good at, isn't that don't be the problem, fix the problem? Because you're actually putting the right people in the right place to fix the problem based on their talent.
That's right.
And based on your awareness of who needs, what you can do, what you can't do. Sometimes I can tell you, learning by experience over the years, is you'll try to put the wrong person fixing the problem as opposed to the right person, or maybe yourself when you shouldn't be involved in that, and this person should be involved in that. So don't be the problem, fix the problem includes being self-aware and aware of all those around you, their talents, to put these things together.
But that's what I love about that book title, Surrounded by Idiots, right? Yep. It's funny.
Including yourself.
What are all you idiots doing? You know, I'm the genius here.
And the idea behind that book, just if you don't know, is basically it's based around the DISC assessment, and everybody thinks that the way they listen, the way they understand, the way they interpret is the right way. So when other people don't interpret their way, they're wondering, hey, everyone around me must be an idiot because apparently I'm the only one that can get this. But it has to do with just the way they process.
Exactly. It's architecture.
I can't. I'm laughing. You know why I'm laughing?
No.
What did I call you at lunch?
I think you called me an idiot, but
times 1,000.
Times 1,000, actually. Yeah. He did times 1,000. He did do that.
But in my
which means I probably wasn't being aware of myself, right?
With my scatterbrain, but that goes back to my original point. If you watch Jason and BJ, one of the things we were in a board meeting years ago, and Jason was going on about something, and BJ, of course, was taking an adversarial position. So there's constructive conflict going on. It was good. There's a group of us, probably 6 or 8 of us, sitting around the table at your house. I'm paraphrasing, but basically, BJ, I'm an editor. You can't fault me for being an editor.
That's a good comment.
And it's because Jason's a creator. And I think this. And again, I don't mean to go back to Jason
that's
and
a
BJ,
good comment.
But that point of self-awareness with the creator versus the editor, as an example of what's talked about with the DISC assessment in that book, is a person who is a creator by nature is going to have some level of annoyance. I deal with this with my wife too. My wife is a math major. She eats numbers for breakfast. And we were sitting at the table just last night. We were finishing my son's application to, he's getting ready to apply to college. He's submitting on August 1st.
And which college
would be Texas A&M University.
Okay, I thought that's maybe what he was doing.
He's gonna be
smart young man.
He's going to be a member of the Corps Cadets and finance and financial planning. He's got a great future ahead of him. He also eats numbers for breakfast like his mother. But my point is, he was getting frustrated because she was going through this 7-page essay that we've been working on for weeks, helping him. He wrote it, but we're editing, and he's getting frustrated because she's changing this, and she's changing this, and she's changing this, and I could just see me over there. He was just getting red, and I said, son, it's okay. I mean, I stole shamelessly from you and BJ. I said, you can't blame her. She's an editor. That's what you're a creator.
And I'm sure that made him feel better, right?
Well, he did. He's like, oh yeah, okay.
You know, but I think when you think about this rule, really, and the reason we created it as one of our values is because it creates the mindset of we're all in this together. We're all trying to fix the problem. We maybe don't all know the answer to it yet, but what you can't do is you can't just be a complainer. You can't just add to the problem. You have to find out the solution to the problem. And so when you think about it, it really has 2 points. It has a point to me and a point to you individually, like when I'm pointing this way. And then it has the way that I respond to other people the other direction. Right. And so I think your first question was, how do I identify problems within myself? I think what you have to realize is, and it goes back to the book, No Complaining, are you just complaining because that's what you want to do? Are you just complaining? Are you adding any value? Or are you actually trying to figure out a solution? Because I think a lot of people, we just fall into this habit of we want to talk about something negatively, and everybody has teammates like it. But before you start dealing with the teammates, start with yourself. How do you handle problems? Are you complaining about, well, this employee doesn't do this great, this team member is not helping me out enough, and well, our software is not good enough? What are you doing to fix the problem first? How are you addressing it? And the first thing you got to do is just get rid of the complaining. That's the first thing you have to do. The second thing you have to do is you have to look at yourself and say, well, where am I at fault in this process, and how can I fix it? I think a lot of times whenever we take that like extra moment before we complain, you think about what you could do better in the process. What you end up doing is figuring out, I'm going to do a little bit more work before I bring the problem up, right? Because I want to make sure that I'm essentially faultless before I bring it up to you of something I would like you to maybe address or change. And we wanted that mindset within our company. We wanted people here who don't complain for the sake of complaining. But we want people here who bring up problems because they want them to be solved for the greater good.
So falling into negativity, complaining, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. And we can all be subject to that, myself included, clearly, and we have to be aware of that. One of the things I read about some time ago was I don't know what you call it, but the executive chair approach or whatever. So if someone is complaining or they have a gripe or, hey, this is broke or this is not working, they said literally you can get up out of your chair, put them in your chair and say, okay, you're me now. If you were me, what would you do? And a lot of times they don't know the answer either. And you say, okay, so you're just complaining. But if you have some solutions, seriously, what would you do if you were me? Well, I don't know. Well, maybe I don't either. Let's figure it out together. And so sometimes you have to get people out of their way of thinking.
What that does is, I think it contextualizes, like, sometimes people are complaining because they think that you just don't want to fix the problem. But when you flip the chairs, it's like, hey, I'd be happy to fix it. Can you give me an idea? And then you put you both on the same playing field of, okay, maybe we both don't like this problem, but I can put up with this problem because neither one of us know the solution, but we both know we want to solve the problem.
I think they're frustrated and they don't know what to do.
It just comes back to alignment. Yeah, are we aligned on fixing this?
So think about this statement, though. Don't be the problem, fix the problem.
Yes.
Well, if we're not aware of our personalities, we're not aware of our strengths, we're not aware of our frustrations, because we're not, going back to a previous session, loyal and know we have the best interest in heart, and we're not really thinking through all this, what happens? We actually become the problem. Yep. And so we're actually arguing about something instead of actually solving the real issue. We've done it. We've all done it. All three of us have done it many times.
That's right.
We will get to working on a problem, and before it's over, we're maybe butting heads because we're all kind of wired high. You know, that's by the way, that could be good actually.
That's not a bad thing.
But if you don't stay focused, you'll miss the point. Whoa, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
We're arguing with each other now instead of actually fixing the problem.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to add that to this. I think one of the words that all of our core values, the thing I love about them is they're all fairly vague, essentially. They have lots of meanings and things that they can point you in the direction of. And one of the things that is a characteristic out of this, that basically what we're saying is if you're going to work here, you're going to have the value of this characteristic, and it's empowerment. We want you, if you see a problem, come up with the solution and fix it. I can't tell you how many times that we do things, like for example, we have a focus group that meets every year with our C-suite just to give ideas on how we can get better. That literally came through other people's ideas to a problem. And it's just like that constantly. Like everybody's constantly empowered to fix problems. And when you do that, it doesn't mean there's no problems. It means you're just solving them along the way.
But can you look at that from another perspective? And that is, if you think someone else is the problem, if you think that, right? I think the first question that I would ask is it an attitude problem or is it an ability
Or
problem?
maybe it's you. I found the enemy and the enemy's us, right?
Well, that's
you got it. Which goes back to be self-aware.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's. I think a lot, again, what our family business has done that I think we have. We don't have attitude problems are pretty rare around here.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a person's got to have a bad day. I mean, that's different. I mean, any of us could have a bad attitude on any given day. But if you're dealing with a chronic, habitual bad attitude, that's a different kind of problem.
You have to get. It goes back to our previous one though. If someone else is the problem, you have to get aligned with them.
That's
right?
right.
You have to get aligned. This is like a sales concept, right? We were talking about that this morning. If in our business, right, price is the big deal. Everybody pushes. Insurance is all about price. It's all about price. It's actually not all about price. Price is a very important factor, but there's coverage and protection that's available here too. But sometimes I have to take you, the consumer, and take you from a price mindset and get you over here to a coverage mindset. That's my job as a salesperson, an educator, to get your mind to this.
So
when someone is the problem, sometimes you just have to get them on the same page of like, hey, we're on the same team, remember? We're both going in this direction. Yeah. How are we going to fix this problem together? Because what that does is it takes it from maybe they're upset about it because it's affecting their day, maybe it's affecting their personal life, to somebody's working on this with me. And I think sometimes whenever someone else is the problem, if they feel like they're the only one who wants to solve it, they're going to stay that way. But they have to know other people want to solve it with them.
I'll give a practical example that happened pretty recently. I was leaving. It was after closing, going out of the office. A person pulls up. We're already closed, trying to make a payment on a personal lines piece of business. It wasn't a large check. Wasn't necessarily a large policy. But it doesn't matter. They all matter.
Yep.
Anyway, and they're like, "Hey, are they already closed?" I said, I walked out there. Yes, ma'am. When is it due? Well, it was today. That day. I'm looking at it. It's a Friday afternoon, after hours. I haven't processed one of these payments in like years. Okay. And so I'm looking at it, and I look up at the sign, and I see the entrance there, and I said, I got a feeling they care about you, And he ended up telling her who I was and all that. And I said, we will take care of you. Don't you worry. And then she said, well, can I get a receipt? I was like, man, we're going to email you a receipt. I don't know how. Just trust me. We'll handle it. And so I get on the phone, and I go through a couple of different people who were like leaving the office. It just didn't, the logistics weren't right, but every one of them were willing to do it. One of them with the voicemail. So I got a hold of one person who's a really skilled, good person. And they said, hey, I'm leaving to go pick up my kids, but I'm coming right back. I was actually working on the house that day. Don't worry about it. I will handle it. Before I could even text a picture of the stuff for her to finish it up and then let the lady know what we had done, she texts me back, hey, I'll be right back at the house. So don't worry. And just, she's already like proactive in that. And then sends it back, fixes it all up, calls the lady. She's happy she can be. Then I gave the payment Monday to actually to the another person to process it, and they knew exactly. Oh, she's so sweet. The point is, my interaction with our people and that client was honestly impressive. The client's attitude toward us, our folks' attitude at different levels toward her. And that really goes back to they were solving a problem, and I didn't. They just were going to fix it. I've been very impressed with this.
But what is that about the human condition, right? Good people don't want to be a problem, yet culturally
they care. They truly care.
But he's saying culturally,
like nationally, everybody just finds themselves creating problems, and they're not really put in a position. They're not a part of a culture that really wants to genuinely just fix the problem.
Yeah, so, we want them to work somewhere else, not here.
Well, that's true.
And you guys should in your business too. But that's what we're talking about today. Here, I was going to add on to that.
That's a cultural thing. Fix the problem.
Another characteristic though that comes out of this mindset, the don't be the problem, fix the problem mindset. It's about the team more than it's about me individually.
That's right.
I read something the other day which was talking about high performing teams, and it said on high performing teams, the individual person, so individuals on a high performing team, they outperform individually the average at a normal business. While at the exact same time, like I'm outperforming you, let's say you're at the normal business, I'm at the high performing one. Individually, I'm outperforming you. The difference is you're probably thinking about you, even though I perform better, and I'm thinking about the team. The individuals on a high performing team outperform most people, but they think about the team along the way. There's that higher purpose, like they're working for something bigger than them. And when you think about don't be the problem, fix the problem, I probably a lot of the times have good ideas on how to fix your problem. You know why? Because I'm not in the weeds of your day to day. And something about that, having a different perspective, goes back to the DISC assessments. You need different personality types to solve different problems.
That's it.
You have to, if you have the mindset of like, well, I wish Keith would just fix this problem. Well, is he going to fix it? Probably not. But if I go to you and say, hey, I got an idea. You know that problem we've been talking about lately? What if you could do this? And you're like, Jackson, I would have never thought about that, because we think differently.
That's right.
You got to work for the team. And when you're thinking about your business, are the people on your team working for the team, or are they working for themselves individually? Because the reality is, if they start working for the team, they will perform better individually.
How do you build a
good
fix
point.
the problem culture? Right.
Yeah, that's what it is. How do you build a fix the problem culture? We tell this to Maze students all the time when we go up to A&M and speak. One of the things I say, you know how to define an entrepreneur? I ask the kids this all the time at Maze. I said, there's somebody who is figuring out a solution to the problem that you don't even know exists.
Yeah.
Most people walk around, they don't even see a problem. The guy who created Uber, no one saw a problem. They put their finger out, they got in a taxi. Right? Like they didn't see a problem. They just were working through the system. He saw a problem and built a solution before most people even knew there was a problem that exists. And because of that, they built a crazy company because of it. You have to be able to solve the problem type culture.
Well, and that goes back to, again, I mean, recruiting the right type of people who have that mindset that, hey, I want to fix things. I want to be a part of a team that fixes things, and I want to grow and have opportunity. And it just kind of builds on itself in a good way.
What were
when
you
done
gonna say?
properly.
This, you know, I know we have other episodes that are out there talking about other issues. So you should, if you haven't looked into our catalog of other podcasts, go listen to some of those, because we talk about some of this stuff. But it starts with character. The right kind of character people are going to be loyal. The right kind of loyal people are good people. The kind of good people are going to want to fix the problem. It's not one thing. It's getting all things put together.
But I want to end this one with a challenge to the leader of the business.
Yeah.
Because you said go recruit for this, which is totally true.
First, you should be it yourself. Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
what I was going to say first is, I don't care who's on your team. If you start implementing this type of rule within your company, you're going to run the bad ones away, and you're going to make the good ones love it even more.
Yeah.
So it can start internally without even bringing other people in. Of, hey guys, look, I know in the past, maybe me, I've been bad about just complaining about problems. As of today, that stops. I want you to find problems, and I want you to find problems at an all-time high. I want you to find more problems at any other company ever. But know that we need to bring solutions to the table with them, and let's fix them. Does anybody want their company not to be successful? No. Does any employee? Who likes problems? The answer is nobody. The difference is only certain types of people choose to solve them.
Well, we can even change the word. It's not problem. What is it? It's an opportunity.
Opportunity. Absolutely, it is.
That's right.
So as we close out today, guys, Rollo, as it is with our company, Rollo Rule number 7, with you guys just promoting this mindset within your company: do not be the problem, fix the problem. We'll see you back here next time on The Real Family Business. Make sure to check out our YouTube and website. See you soon.